Good evening, everybody. My name is Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter. Today is a very cold Thursday, January the 23rd, 2025. Welcome back to my Flosstube channel. If you are new, welcome. This is a channel where I talk about all my cross stitch. I do Monopoly, temperatures, Great British Bake Off, Whip of Shame, weekly polls, full coverage to get to 1%, all the things. If you're returning to my channel, welcome back. Thank you so much for watching and following along with my journey. Real quick before we get started on the stitching, you know how they post on social media, I didn't have this big event on my 2025 bingo card, right? Yeah, who had Florida, and Louisiana and Alabama getting a snowstorm in 2025 on their bingo card? Not this girl. I didn't get any of the snow. All I got in the past 6 months were hurricanes. I didn't get none of the snow. I was too far south. But if you did not know, because I don't know how much that news has spread, but and Texas too, Texas, the Gulf side, basically the entire US coast of the Gulf, so Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, and the panhandle of Florida got hit with a snowstorm. Like Louisiana got a blizzard warning. Unheard of. Unheard of. I think Louisiana got multiple feet of snow. I want to say the Florida record for snow has now been doubled. North Florida had like 8 to 9 inches of snow. If I find pictures, I'll be posting them as I'm talking about it. But this was wild. Absolutely wild. Of course, I didn't get any of the fun. I was tempted to drive a few hours. It would have been like maybe a half a day trip up to North Florida to see the snow. My cousin lives in Panama City and he FaceTimed me. He lives a mile from Panama City Beach and he FaceTimed me and he was like, Jenny, you want to see something wild? He's got a very southern accent. And he took me outside and it was like actively snowing. Snow was piled up. I mean, he had to have about 5 or 6 inches of snow piled up in his yard. It was crazy, absolutely crazy. And we didn't get the snow, but we are definitely getting the cold temperatures. Temps are dropping to like 20s and 30s in Central Florida overnight, and it's only getting to be highs in the 40s during the day. That is very unusual for us. I was even just telling my kids like last week that this is probably the coldest winter I think that I have experienced in Florida since I was in high school in the 90s. Usually our winters are very mild, even on the hotter side, where we're like, this isn't even winter. And it's been like having to wear our heaviest coats that we have and having the heater on, and it's, yeah, global warming, am I right? We're not getting in all that. I don't talk about stuff like that usually, but it's just like I had to talk about the snowstorm that hit the Gulf Coast of the US just like yesterday, a couple days ago. It was absolutely crazy. Anyway, moving on to the stitching. So if any of you guys are in those areas of where the snowstorm hit, people from up north, don't come at these people when they're like freaking out about the snow, because that is not something that they deal with. We do not get snowstorms in the South. We don't get them down this far south. Like the last time I remember it snowing in Panama City was in 1989. I happened to be up there for it because I was visiting my grandmother for Christmas. I happened to be up there for it, but that was the last time I remember it snowing was in 1989. So almost 35 years ago. And yeah, And I think the last time it snowed in this area where I'm at was in 1977, maybe. I want to say 76 or 77 was the last time it snowed in the Tampa Bay area. So anyway, it's a huge deal for us to get snow down here. Okay, let's talk about my stitching. Didn't get all my temperature stitching done, but we had talked about that last time. I think what I am going to do is I'm just going to keep going with tracking this stuff here. And some people had said, well, just alternate highs with lows. Well, then it's no different than just having 10 temperatures, like 10 temperature whips. So, I mean, it really is no different, but now I just have like 20 projects to keep track of instead of 10 for that. So I'm going to do what I was talking about. This one has 125 because I used, real quick, this one has 125 because I used it in my Stitch With Me where I was demonstrating how I stitch on a full coverage in hand. And I got a little carried away with the stitching. So, but I'm going to keep doing it like this where I'm tracking the highs and the lows, and I will put down how many I need, and as they meet their goals of 2,000 stitches, it will just drop off so that it ends up only being one, and then I will just track, like say the high for that's assigned to the number 1 hits its 2,000, that will just drop off. I won't replace it. It's just now I will just track the low for the number 1, or maybe I'll do it for both. I don't know quite yet. But I'll just track the low temperature for number 1. And then once that one hits 2,000, then you guys will vote to replace it. And then I'll just kind of keep doing that until I pare it down back down to 10 whips. And we'll just keep it like that. I was hoping that I'd be able to do both, but it's just going to be too much, and I'm just going to get frustrated I didn't get to it. So we'll go back down to 10 whips, even though this shows I wouldn't have gotten all 10 of the whips anyway, but that's neither here nor there. I did get all of the Monopoly stitching done, so you're going to see a new round of Monopoly this week. I did see some people say that they were not unhappy that Monopoly was getting carried over for a second week. Good news for you guys, these stitch counts are going up, and from here on out, Monopoly will be over 2 weeks, so you will get 2 Monopoly rounds per month, basically. So my next Flosstube will be January the 31st. The Flosstube after that we'll have another round of Monopoly. So you got 2 weeks to do the new Monopoly stitches that are going to post today. I got all of my bake-off stitching done, so that was great. And I stayed caught up on a whole lot of latte. So that was exciting. That project, I know for sure that if I fall behind on it, I will not catch up because it's taking every fiber of my being to pull it out and work on it. And I was able to work on the other 3 weekly pulls, so that was great. This is going to be a vlog style video this week, so so when I start showing my whips, it will be in the vlog style where I'm showing the deals. Little bonus, I may forget that I say this now and I may say this later, but when I show the Monopoly stitching Halloween letters, I'll actually be able to like show you guys the glow in the dark part. I got very excited about that. But anyway, but yeah, so this is my stitching, and I was just trying to think if there was something else I wanted to say. I want to say, because I already have, I'm hoping that this will not take me very long to film tonight. I do like the vlog style because I'm like, even though my videos are just as long, vlog style versus regular, I feel like this is going to save me time on the days that I'm supposed to be filming, like today, because you guys see that it's like, what, a 2 hour plus video usually every week. and because apparently I have a lot to talk about, and it's not just like, I think last week was 2 hours and 27 minutes or something, like basically 2.5 hours, right? It took longer to film because I have to get everything set up, and then I have to, like, you know, start filming and then show all the whips, and then I have to pause, and then I have to, you know, figure out what I'm stitching on, and then I have to like gather all the stuff up, and then I have to, you know, so it usually will take an extra 30 minutes to an hour on top of what the filming time is. So I'm hoping that this, like, I feel like this is going to be a better estimate as to how long this will truly take me, because I already have all my clips from the showing the stuff in order. I already have everything in order. And all my clips are already uploaded into my video editor. So all I have to do is upload my talking head in between all the bits. So I want to say that the first up is the weekly stitching. So you're going to see a whole lot of latte. I don't remember what order these are in though, but my weekly pulls were a whole lot of latte. I had to do 100 stitches a day on it. The Friends frame was my new start pull for the week. Well, new start rotation, I should say at this point. Rainbow Castle, my goal was to get that to 1%, and then it will get replaced with something else. And then the June gnome is my non-full coverage to get it to 4,000 stitches. So I will break here, let you guys go check out those whips, and I will be back. All right, so this is my whip of shame for the month of January. This is a whole lot of latte. It's a kit from Dimensions. And I'm doing it on with everything that came in the kit. It's a 14 count black Aida. And this is my starting point. So like I was saying in my last video, this cup is done. You can kind of see the back stitching in it. Do I think it's worth it doing the back stitching? No. Am I going to do it anyway? Probably. And so I have work on this cup to do. This one, I just need to finish the steam and finish the back stitching on it. There's going to be some drops of coffee over here. This one needs a lot of work. This is probably the least amount of progress on the cup. There's going to be some coffee dripping out, I think, up here with the blue cup. This one just needs a little bit done. And then this, this one just needs this little bit filled in, and the saucer and back stitching. Got to bring that pink border down, and the words a whole lot of latte at the bottom. So I will continue working on 100 stitches every day on this. You will see this at the end of the week. Well, I'll show it again at the end of the week once I get my 100 a day on it. So, okay, so here we are at the week's end, and I'll, of course, pan down so you can see the whole thing. But I got 643 stitches done this week. Where did I work? I worked everywhere. I know I got a bunch done in the cup. I was kind of taking one day per cup, doing bits and pieces here and there. I got a lot of this cup done. I do know that. I actually just finished working the sauce in some of the saucer down here, but I want to say this week I might have put this in as well. I don't remember. I did do some more back stitching. As you can see, I got started on the steam coming out of the cup. I backstitched the entire cup. Can you see it? Because I sure can barely see it. But I did backstitch the entire cup. You can kind of see it if I kind of go a little bit of an angle. You can kind of see it a little bit better. I didn't follow stitch for stitch where they wanted the backstitching. I just kind of winged it, wung it, played it by ear. I put the stitches where I wanted to. And then I also partially backstitched the saucer. and I had hit my 100 stitches and then my thread, and I kept going to finish the thread, so the thread ended right about there. So for this cup, all that's left is the steam up here, and then I need to finish the back stitch along the cup here, or the saucer, and then there's a second line that goes like that, like the bottom. So like this one's lining the rim of the saucer, and then there's one going along the bottom of the saucer, and then this cup will be done. That one's already done. And this cup here is back stitching and steam. And then there's a couple stitches and a different shade of brown for this drip of coffee that spilled. And then this one will be done. And then this one, of course, has more work to do. As does this one. And then I still have to do the border. I don't think I actually worked in any of the border this week. I think that's all still the same. But yeah, so 643 stitches this week. I still have, today's the 22nd, I still have just over a week to go on this. So we'll see where I end up at the end of the month. But yeah, okay. Okay, so this is part of my new start rotation for this week. This is a Friends frame. It was like super cheap, $1.74. So not super stoked about the colors. They're a little bit bright for my opinion, my taste for what this should look like. But I mean, it was less than $2, y'all. I mean, really. So this is my starting point. I was estimating before like I had done 100 stitches. I ain't counting those stitches again to find out where I'm at. I am going off of this instead of the print because I realized when I was stitching this the first week that the print is not correct. Like it's like off on the holes and everything. So it was like not matching up. It was looking really weird. So I'm going off of the cover photo because the cover photo actually is like gridded. So I'm going off of that. And then once I'm done with all the stitching, I'm going to look and see where the print is. And I may have to add something to kind of cover up the printed part. We'll see. But anyway, I'm not going to try to finish this tonight. There's no way. But I will go ahead and throw a few hundred stitches in it probably. I don't know. We'll see where I end up once I decide to stop working on this for the night. So I will see you in a few minutes. Okay, so here we are. I have 205 stitches done on this. Believe it or not, even though there is still like print along here, this whole section right here is completed. Like from here to here. That is all completely stitched. Going off of the kind of like little graph thing that's on the cover photo. So I think I was sitting here thinking about how I wanted to fix the issue. Because it is an issue of the pattern being misprinted on the Ada, not that I don't know how to count. I think what I'm going to do is, where is it? I have DMC 208, which on the camera, it does not look like it matches. In person, the purple. In person, it looks kind of like kind of more so the color. I was thinking once this is stitched completely, I would just do like a border of cross stitches around the entire piece and on the inside, almost like kind of like a cross stitch back stitch, if that makes sense. But I was just going to do like around the edge and then on the inside of the frame. We'll see how I feel once this is actually done with all the orange and the yellow, but I got 205 stitches on this. The printed problem is for future Jen to figure out. And yeah, it's not too bad. Like once I kind of sat down and like really looked at the cover photo, I was like, okay, yeah, this isn't so bad. So I was like doing a length of orange And then I was doing a length of yellow, like trying to fill in as I go so I don't like miscount and lose my place. And so the next time this comes out, I'll just kind of start back up here and I'll keep going around the top. If I can do like 200-ish, 300-ish stitches each time, I could probably have this done in another like maybe 3 stitching sessions, maybe 4. It might be 5 depending on if I add that purple in around the edge. We'll have to see how I feel at the end of it. Anyway, 205 stitches on this today. And that's it. Okay, this is my full coverage poll for the week. The full coverage focus to get to 1%. This is Rainbow Castle, Max Colors, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, artworks by Sierra Marchetti. It is regular size, max color, 550 by 738. It has 239 colors. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I am currently, that's not going to work. Currently working in this upper left-hand corner. This is my starting point on it, and I am sitting at 3,098 stitches completed out of 405,900. I am at 0.76%. In order to get this to 1%, I still need 961 more stitches. That is not going to happen this week. But we'll see how many I can get done to get that even closer to almost at a finish. Get it closer to 1%. I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on, I believe, this might be a 28 count. I usually look and see how easy it is for me to see the holes with like no magnification. So I feel like this might be a 28 count, easy count Lugana. And this is all in page, no, a little bit over here is in page 2, but for the most part, this mostly is all page 1. But my plan right now, tackling this, like I said, I'll see how many stitches I can get in on it. I don't know if I want to keep working down this way, filling in symbols, going across, or if I want to just come up here and work my way and just leave these here for now. Because I want you to be able to see the progress that I've done. That's the downside about these huge pieces with the confetti, is it's hard to see the progress when it's so scattered like that. I don't know how I want to tackle this. Maybe I'll just keep working down this first column here until I hit the bottom of the page. Like I'll pick a symbol, like I'll finish off this block right here with that stitch right there. Actually there's 2 stitches there. It's hard to see though. And then I'll just kind of keep filling in these blocks going down, but I'll work the threads out until I get to like maybe this area here, and then I'll park it. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe you'll see more progress over here, but we'll see how much I can get done, and I will be back. Okay, so I ended up doing 210 stitches on this. I was honestly going to try to do more, but I ended up meeting up with my best friend for dinner tonight, and we met kind of like in between where we live, and we live like over an hour away from each other. So I left my house at 6 and didn't get home until like almost 10. So obviously the clips are going to be out of order, but this is a weekend. Today's Saturday. But I did get 210 stitches on it, so I'm just that much closer to getting the goal. But as you can see, hopefully you can see, I feel like you can see, I worked on filling in, like I worked a little bit out into this column, but I worked mainly in this column down this way, and just parking when I got down too far or over too far, so that I could go back and start doing more colors, so it would fill in a little bit more instead of just being a bunch of confetti scattered everywhere. that you couldn't really tell where the progress was. So I am now sitting at 3,308 stitches done out of 405,900. I am now at 0.81%. So there we go. Okay, so this is June Gnome. This is by Cross Stitch for Everyone on Etsy. This is part of her, when I bought it, it was Year of Gnomes. I think she calls it Gnome a Month now. This is the June Gnome, and very summery. Oh, I like his little outfit. I didn't really notice that with the little rainbow and clouds on the outfit too. But anyway, I am currently up in the hat, and this is my non-full coverage 4,000 stitch project. So my non-full coverage is that I want to put 4,000 stitches in on it. And this is my starting point. Here we go, the silver. That's a dangly from the fabric. But anyway, this is my starting point. I am currently sitting at 709 stitches completed out of 4,672. I am at 15.18%, and I'm doing this 1/1 full cross on a 28 count white Monaco. And I'm probably, because this right here, this purple is the top of his hat, and this one single purple stitch right there is it is in the rainbow that's going above his head. So I might work on the rainbow today and see how many stitches I can get done in that rainbow. That might be what I end up doing. But I do know that when I hit the 4,000 stitch goal on this guy, he's going to be like 100 and something stitches away from being a finish. So I will just finish him off, most likely. But yeah, so this is my starting point, and I will be back to show you how many stitches I was able to get done on him. Okay, so here's where I got to. I did 257 stitches on the June Gnome. Honestly, I was going to try to put in some more, but I need to get to bed because I have to work tomorrow. Boo, work. So I now have a total of, and I did it like all up in the little rainbow that's going over his head. I now have a total of 966 stitches completed out of 4,672. I am at 20.68%. So I think the next time I work on this, I will probably continue in the rainbow and maybe try to get that completed before I move back down to him. And yeah, that is where I'm at with him. So he's, I mean, it still doesn't look like much, but it's cute. I like it. So there we go. Okay, so next up is my temperature stitching. As you saw when I showed my board, I did not get to all of the temperatures. I only got to 4 of them, and they were all in the lows. They were all in the lows of the projected temperatures for the week. So I wanted to, since I knew I wasn't going to get to all of them, I wanted to focus on the ones that you guys have voted on, partly because you guys have voted on them, but also because I knew that those had lower counts than the highs did, and I wanted to kind of give them some more stitches. So you're going to see Hiding Place, which I had shown in my Stitch With Me. You're going to see Hiding Place, Merry Christmas, I Love You to Death, and Ocean's ABC. And then I will be back. Okay, so this is Hiding Place, charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. I really love this piece. And it is 869 by 583. It has 134 colors. And I originally started in the upper left-hand corner, and then I counted over like 500,000 times, and I made a start in the upper right-hand corner so that I can work it, whoopsies, work it in the diagonal. So this is my upper right-hand corner start. As you can see, I have a couple diagonals done, and I am currently working on this one here. So this will be where we're focusing. This is part of the temperature stitching. It is the low piece assigned to the number 1, and that came up once this week. Projected low temperature on the 18th is 71 degrees. So I am starting off at 11,460 stitches done, because a lot of it was in the upper left hand corner. Out of 506,627, I am at 2.26%. And I am actually going to also be doing a little bit of a stitch with me. It's not going to be super long, but I've had a couple of requests showing how I stitch in hand. So I figured I may as well go ahead and do that. So I will see you on this video in 100 stitches, and look for this for a, well, no, the stitch with me might post before that. Anyway, just know there's a stitch with me either before this weekly update or the weekend after. Not sure when I'm going to post it yet, but anyway, see you in 100. Okay, so here's my 100 stitches. I actually went over and I did 125 because I used this for a stitch with me for stitching in hand. Like I said in my before video, but yeah, I kind of got carried away with talking, and I was using a really long length of like 938, so I kind of lost track of what I was doing. I ended up doing 125, so I am now sitting at 11,585 stitches completed. Out of 506,627, I am at 2.29%. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. So I will see you in the next clip. Okay, so this is Merry Christmas. This is a kit by Artiste, designed by Cooler Design Studio. And this is one of the low temperature whips. This is the whip for temperature number 4. And this came up once this week. So this was the viewer's choice. The low temperatures are the ones that you guys pick. On the 19th of January is a projected low of 54 degrees. And this is my starting point. I'll be working over here in the T, which is the snowman. So a little bit closer you can see. I was trying to show it in my last video, but it was hard to show. But that's the back stitching I've gotten done on it so far. But I will continue to, I'll probably just keep doing the cross stitching and then maybe do the rest of it, because honestly the back stitching goes pretty quick on this stuff. But I'll probably just continue working in the snowman. Like from here up, the cross stitching is done. I just need to do 100 stitches on it, so it's gonna be a lot of white because it's the bottom of the snowman. But we'll see where 100 stitches will get me, and once the cross stitching is done, then I will back stitch this thing, and then I will move on to the M. So I will see you in 100 stitches. Okay, so here we are 100 stitches later. I did not get to finish the stitching on him. I didn't think I would, but I just have, so I did the kind of went around the base of him a little bit there. I have to finish the white, and this is like the equivalent of 705 right here, this kind of lighter blue. And there's a little bit more that goes up here. I'm like holding this up against my tablet so I can angle this a little bit better, so that's why I'm using my thumb. So cross stitching wise, there's a little strip of the light blue that goes right here. The white goes in the rest of this. There's a little bit of a darker blue that will go fill in this little space right here and up here. And then I just have this lighter green to do here and here. And then I will be able to back stitch him. Looks like I'm going to have 2 different colors of the back stitching. It's going to be some white that goes up in his hat. The rest will be the dark gray. And there's going to be some French knots for his mouth. And yeah. So I think the next time this comes out, I should be able to start back stitching. So that'll be fun. And then I can move on to the candy canes. That'll be fun. So there's my 100 stitches on this. All right, so this is I Love You to Death. This is by Stitchman Darcy. He has a Flosstube. He also has an Etsy shop. That is where I got this. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. It is 255 by 155. And there is a little bit of back stitching in the gravestones where you can backstitch some names. And this is where I'm starting from. So I have the grass or the ground, whatever, extended out as far to the left as it's going to go. This is the start of a tree here. This is, looks like this tree is completely done. And this gravestone is completely done. I just have to do the black going along here. The skull is almost done. I have to fill in his little deal right there. And the clouds, of course. And, oh, because I was like, how did I get this tree started? Because of that right there. But that is where I'm starting from. This is for temperature number 5. And when I looked at the week's temperatures, the projected low for the 23rd, which is tomorrow, is 55 degrees. These temperatures are not 100% accurate because it is freaking cold this week. But when I looked at these temperatures, we were not expecting this Arctic blast to pummel the southeast and give Florida its first snowstorm in decades, with a record high snowfall up in North Florida of like almost 9 inches. I think it was like 8.5 or 8.8 inches of snow up in North Florida. But anyway, when I looked at the temperatures, it had a low of 55. So this is going to get 100 stitches. I don't know if I'm going to work down here or if I haven't quite decided exactly yet where I'm going to work for the 100. So I'm going to do the thing like this. And then you'll see when I come back where I ended up working. But I'm starting off at 3,028 stitches completed out of 9,401. I am at 32.21%. So I will see you in 100 stitches. Okay, so here's where I ended up working. I did my 100 stitches in this tree here, and this tree is not done. Once I looked at the pattern, I was like, oh, that's not done. There's a few short little branches that need to be done. But I worked over here in this one, and so this part's completely done. This part's completely done. So I figured I would just kind of work up until I got the branches done, because this trunk is going to come up more and more branches are going to come off of it. And I forgot to mention earlier, I am doing this with the called for DMC 3-6. I think it's got like 8 colors. I'm doing it 2/2. Oh, excuse me. 2/2 on a 28 count, like kind of grayish. I think this is some kind of linen. I'm not really sure. It's something that I had picked up, not really realizing it was linen. I don't really like linen, but it's working. And I have no idea what color it is. No clue. But I figured it was like kind of spooky enough for this piece. But anyway, I am now sitting at 3,128 stitches done out of 9,401. I am at 33.27%. And there we go. Okay, so this is Ocean ABC. This is by Design Works. Artwork is by Krista Hamrick. I really, really like this piece a lot. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. Oh, look at the vacation one. It's a sandcastle. I never really noticed that before. So I like doing this stuff like block by block, and I'm currently in the G right now for goals, and this is my starting point. Bear with me one second. So here's the whole thing, and it's fun. I like stitching on it. But this is my starting point right now. This is for temperature stitching. This is a low temperature. It's assigned to the number 6. And number 6 came up once for a low on for the upcoming temps on the 21st, has a low of 46 degrees. So this is slated to get 100 stitches. And that is where I am starting from. I think, well, I'm going to finish this thread, which is like it's the same color that's in the border here, but I think I got to double check the pattern. I think it goes all the way across, maybe, or maybe I'll stop here or something. I think it goes all the way across though. And then whatever thread I have left over, I'll just come up here and kind of work it, because it does go down this way, I believe. And then I'll probably work in a strand of this light brown, and because it's a lot of sand. And then after that, I don't know, we'll see what I end up doing. So I will see you in 100. I'm using everything that came in the kit. It's a 14 count white Aida, and yeah, so I'll see you in 100 stitches. All right, so here's my 100 stitches. As you can see, I completed the thread that was here. There's a darker teal that goes in the wing right here, and I did a length of the light brown in the sand because there is a shit ton of it. So I'm kind of going between like the 3 big colors that are in this piece. Well, I didn't do the white, but, and then I took another length. I still have a little bit left to go in the border of this length, but I'm almost got that. And yeah, so this block is closer. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. This block is closer to being done. All that's left is, let me see. I got to finish this section here, the sand here, and there's just a little bit of water that goes right there, and then the border, of course, and back stitching, and then I can move on to the next one. Not sure which block I'm going to do next, but we're not going to worry about that right now because we are still working on this endless amount of sand. So anyway, there's my 100 stitches. Okay, so now we're moving on to the Monopoly stitching. So this is finishing up round number 6 of Monopoly, and the ones that I had done were for the cat who had landed on Ventnor. It was still the first time around the board. So we did, I think I explained this in the clips, so I might be repeating myself, but I don't recall exactly. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it here too. But the cat was still the first time around the board. So everything it lands on until it passes go is 100 stitches each. And it landed on Ventnor Avenue, which is Halloween calendar. So that got 100. The dog is still in jail. It was its second time trying to roll doubles to get out. It did not. So I had to do 200 stitches on Rocky Point. And then the duck had landed on Pacific. It was still its first time around the board. And that was 100 stitches on Halloween letters. And that's when I show you the glow in the dark thread that I'm using on the ghosts. And then I know it sounds like I'm doing all of them, but the penguin had a crap ton of stitching, and I did most of the penguin stitching last week, and then I finished it up this week. The last bit of the penguin stitching was to purchase Oriental Avenue, which was Christmas reindeer, and my purchase price for all of my properties once they pass go is going to be 400 stitches. Until 6 properties are purchased, and then the properties will increase to 600, or not and, but or once 3 railroads or utilities are purchased, then the railroads and utilities will go up to 600 stitches. So for right now, everything is 400 stitches to purchase. So I did 400 on Christmas reindeer. So I will be back. Okay, so this is Halloween calendar. This is by Tiny Modernist. I got this off of their Etsy shop. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I do have this in Pattern Keeper, so I'll tell you what my percentage is without the back stitching. There is a little bit, but not a whole lot. And this is my starting point. I'm doing this 2/2 full cross with a call for DMC on a 28 count Lugana in the color Dusk by Live and Die LA. I don't know how well the color is going to show up in the camera. I don't know if I go back a little bit, but it's a very, very pretty mottled purpley fabric. Like, I like this color a lot. And this is for Monopoly. This is what the cat had rolled and landed on last week. It is still the cat's first time around the board. So this is going to get 100 stitches on it. And I'm going to continue working in the number 13 block here. And I am starting off at 700 stitches completed out of 16,842. And I am at 4.16%. So I will continue working in the number 13 block, and I will see you in 100 stitches. All right, so there is my 100 stitches. My little pumpkin is kind of looking a little bit like an owl. I am not mad about that. Oh my God, it is an owl. Oh my goodness. It is an owl. Well, no wonder it looks like an owl. Oh my goodness. All right, so I got my 100 stitches in. And I am now sitting at 800 stitches completed out of 16,842. I am at 4.75%. So the next time that this gets pulled in Monopoly, I will continue working on this block here and doing the black border around it. And then after that, I don't know where I will go. I don't know if I would maybe tackle the number 15 block that has all that black stitching in it, or if I would go up and work on a different one, or maybe I'll do 15 and a different one, so I'm not like black on black on black on black. I don't know, but anyway, there's my 100. Alrighty. Okay, so this is the Dimensions Gold Collection Rocky Point. It is designed by James Hemsworth, and sorry for the glare, but it's a shiny cover photo. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. This is my in jail Monopoly piece. So whenever somebody is in jail, they have to roll to get out. And if they don't get out, I have to do like 200 stitches. And I'm currently kind of working in this area right here. So this is my starting point. And I have to do 200 stitches. I think I'm going to continue working in the house over here. Actually, what I might do is I think I might... I don't know. We'll see what I end up doing in the end, but I'm almost debating right now maybe working, like finishing off the roof and the chimney that goes up here, and then maybe work on some of the background, like the tree and some of the sky that's right along the edge of the house, so that I can do the back stitching of the house as it gets done. Because I do want to try to back stitch as I go on this, so that I'm not stuck doing all the back stitching at the end. Because I think this piece actually doesn't really have a whole lot, except for like once the lighthouse and the house get done with the back stitching, there's a bit in the rocks, but I don't, and then the birds, but other than that, I don't think there's any. So anyway, this is my starting point, and I will see you. Oh, this is from Monopoly, and it's the dog rolling to get, or paying a penalty because he didn't roll doubles to get out of jail. So this is for the dog. All right, I will see you in 200 stitches. All right, so here's my 200 stitches. It's a combination of full cross and half cross, and I worked more in the, what's that thing called? The roof. I worked more in the roof of the house over here, and then I went ahead and started working on the kind of tree that's behind the house and the bit of sky, because my plan is going to be the roof extends out this way. The chimney comes up right here. And so what I wanted to do was kind of work the background around it so that once I got the chimney all done, and like this stuff here, I could actually backstitch the roof of the house and the chimney and get some more of the back stitching done so that I wasn't saving it all for the end, because you guys know how much I love doing that. But yeah, so there's my 200 stitches for the dog for jail. Okay, so this is Halloween Letters. This is by Primrose Cottage Stitches, and this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And this is part of my Monopoly stitching. Flip into my Monopoly page real quick so I can tell you what it is, because I forget. Nope, that's calendar. It's for the duck. Yep. The duck had landed on Pacific Avenue last week and had to do 100 stitches. And so that's what I'm going to do. So this is my starting point. And as you can see, most of this bottom line is completed. I just need to do the black that's going to finish off these little candies right here. And then I need to do the white that's going to go right here. And then once that's done, I'm going to come up here and start on the October 31st dealio line. I feel like the color's kind of like fading, like kind of washing out a little bit, because this is actually a really pretty shade of purple, these purples here. But anyway, this will get 100 stitches, and I will see you in just a second. All right, sorry. So here's 100 stitches, and as you can see, I finished the bottom line here, and that took about 50 or so stitches, I think. And then I came up here and started working on the October 31st. There's going to be, it's going to say October 31st, and there's going to be some pumpkins over here and 2 more ghosts like over here. And when I do the ghosts, I'm going to do them in like this little guy right here. I'm going to do them in glow in the dark. Oh my God, since I'm doing a vlog, I can show you the glow in the dark. Hang on one second. I shut all the lights off except for my magnifier, and now let's see if I turn off my magnifier if it works. You ready for it? It's going to get dark. There he is. Oh my God. Oh, now he went blurry. Stop. Focus. Focus. It's not going to focus. But yeah, so it works. Isn't that cool? One more time. Ready? There he is. And then it went blurry. All right, lights going back on. All right, so okay. Oh God. Okay. All right, I got my 100 stitches in, and yeah, there we go. All right, so this is Christmas Reindeer. This is by MP Studio. It's a Russian company. I got this piece on, I think I got it as a kit on Etsy. I'd seen it like on Facebook or something, and it was really, really cute. And I just kind of started doing some searches on Etsy, and I found the kit on there. And then it sold out because it's a kit. It's not like a PDF or anything. But if this piece interests you, check chartingcreations.com. This is the kit number, HB-680. Because when I typed that in to Charting Creations, I don't remember, I think I did a Google search because somebody had mentioned that they
really liked it or something. And I was like, well, let me see if I can track it down somewhere else. And chartingcreations.com had it. I don't know if they still have it because it is a Russian kit. And with all the stuff with, you know, Russia and the Ukraine that has been going on and everything, I don't know if the Russian kits are still available, but HB-680, it was on there the last time I had looked. So you could check there and see if they still have it. But that's what she's going to look like when she's done. Look how pretty she is. She's so pretty. I just want to pet her. I'm going to give her a good little ear scratch with all the ornaments hanging off her antlers. They're so pretty. Okay, so this is my starting point. And I think I'm going to, so this is for Monopoly. This is the final piece I need for the penguin. The penguin passed go and had purchased Oriental Avenue. And so purchase price for this is going to be 400 stitches. And I think I'm going to work, so I need to do 400 stitches on this. And I think I'm going to work somewhere here. I just don't know exactly where yet. I feel like I want to work in the ear maybe and get that part done. I might do that. I might continue working in the ear just to get that filled in. Because her eye, or maybe I'll do her eye. I got to look at the pattern and see where her eye is in accordance to this. Maybe I'll work on her eye and then go up to the ear. I don't know. We'll see where I am in 400 stitches, where I end up deciding to work. But yeah, so I'll see you back in 400. Okay, so I got my 400 stitches in, and as you can see, I did do the eye. I mean, there's some more stitches I have to go there, but I mean, I got most of the eye. That you can see that it's an eyeball. And then I came up and I started working in her ear, and I've got it almost completed. Yeah. So whenever this comes out again, I will go ahead and finish the ear and then fill in this part down here. And then I think what I might try to do is backstitch as I go. So maybe I will work on filling next time. Maybe I'll probably forget, but fill this in here and kind of fill in this section right here. And then start the back stitching of the ear. But yeah, there's 400 stitches on that. Really liking how it's turning out so far. And there we go.
Okay. I feel like my camera is tilted. Okay, so next up is bake-off stitching. This was the final week of the most recent collection from Great British Bake Off. So just a recap of how I do my bake-off stitching. Actually, no, I'm going to explain it because, okay, so this was the final week of the current season of, most recent season of Great British Bake Off. I'm just going to tell you what stitches I did because I'm going to explain when I talk about my plans, how I do Bake Off in a little bit because we're going into a new collection on Netflix, of Bake Off. So for the final week of Bake Off, what I did was I'll explain this part. Nobody got a handshake, so I didn't have extra stitches from that. But what I did was the person who won, I doubled their stitch count for Honeymoon Sunset. So their assigned stitch count was 1,000 stitches. Excuse me. So I ended up doing 2,000 stitches on Honeymoon Sunset, and I got all that done. And then they do still do the technical bake in the final episode. With only 3 bakers left in the competition in the last episode. It was it's n times 50 and n times 100 for the technical bakes. And I'll explain all that in a little bit. So it was 3 times 50, 3 times 100. The person who came in last for the technical had an odd stitch count assigned to them. So Grinch, Gnome, and Company got 150 stitches. And then 3 times 100, 3 times, so yeah, 150, 3 times 50, and then 3 times 100 made 300 stitches for the person who came in first place, and they had an even stitch count on them assigned to them, so Calendar Girls May got 300 stitches on her. So I will show you all that stuff, and then when I come back from that, we are going to update my boards and draw the weekly stuff for the upcoming week, and then we'll do the next round of Monopoly.
Okay, so this is for Great British Bake Off. This is one of the technical stitches, and this is Grinch Gnome and Company, and I got this from Maya Stitch on Etsy. It's M-I-Y-A Stitch on Etsy. And this is a mock-up in Pattern Keeper without the back stitching. I feel like my phone is shaking. But this is a mock-up of it without the back stitching. So this is my starting point. And I'm doing it with the Call for DMC on a 28 count white Monaco 2/2 full cross. And so my little reindeer gnome here in the middle is completed, and I decided to move over here to start working on the Grinch gnome. And then once this one is completed with the back stitching, then I'll move over, get the cat hair out of the way. I'll move over here and do the final gnome over there. The fabric is folded up, it's big enough, no worries. But cross-stitching wise, I am starting off at 1,638 stitches completed out of 5,472. I am at 29.93%. This piece this week needs 150 stitches to get the goal completed. And I think I'm going to probably continue, so you see I have a thread hanging. I think I'm probably going to continue working up in the hat up here because it's just like red and white stripes. Well, this is like the brim of his hat. So I'm not sure if this, is that a stripe or is that the start of the stripes, or is that still the little fur brim? Let me see. No, I think that's still the top of the, like the brim of his hat, like this over here. I think that's what this is. So I'll probably continue to keep working up here, and then I'll save the fun green beard for the last bit. But it's just like red, white, red, white, red, white, all the way up. And then a green little poof at the tip of the hat. So I will keep working on that, and I will see you in, let me zoom in so you can see my progress with my white on white over here. I will see you in 150 stitches. Okay, so let's come out a little bit. I decided to work on the hat, like I said, and try to adjust its lighting. I feel like it's dark, although I say that every time. It's so dark, and then when I look at the playback, it's fine. But I got 150 stitches. I just worked basically, I worked a little bit down here, like I finished that thread, and then I worked on this little area right over here, and then I hit a red, and I was like, ooh! So I just worked on 3 different colors. It was like 816, 817, and 415. And so the little curve of the hat, where the pom-pom, the green pom-pom is going to go, basically it's going to kind of curve up, and the pom-pom is going to go like right about here, like this thing. I'm calling it a pom-pom. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be. But anyway, so I'm almost to the top of the hat. Like the very tippy top is another 1, 2, 3, 4. Four rows up is going to be the very tippy top. So almost to the very top of it. And so I'm done with it for this week because I got my 150 stitches in. But next week when I pull it out, I will continue filling in, like kind of going up this way. and then I'll do the pom-pom, and then I'll just completely fill this hat going back down, and just kind of keep working it that way. So now I am currently sitting at, so I got my 150 in, and I'm currently sitting at 1,788 stitches done out of 5,472, and I am at 32.68%. And there we go. Okay, so this is Calendar Girls May from Little House Needleworks. This is from their Calendar Girls series of 2014, and this is what she is going to look like when she is done. And this is my starting point with her. I am doing this with the Call for DMC 2/2 full cross on a 32 count Legacy Lugana from Picture This Plus. And this is part of my technical stitching for Great British Bake Off. And I need to do 300 stitches on her. Don't really have much to say, except that I think it's going to get quite a dent put in on her dress. So maybe I could get her completed, but I will see you in 300 stitches. Okay, so here we are 300 stitches later, and I got some good progress on her. So pretty much everything that you see in the screen right now is completely done on her. Filled in the face, finished off the top of her apron, dress, whatever you want to call it. Got her arm done. The flowers in the entire bottom part of her dress are completely done. So all I have left on her is to finish filling in the 712 that goes here, and then the brown here, and then there's going to be a blue bottom part of her dress, and then her legs and her feet, and then the word May with the vine and the flowers right here. That's all that's left. So I think a couple more good stitching weeks on her and she will be wrapped up. And at least for right now, I will continue and I will just move on. Depending on when I do end up finishing her, I will either start the February one or I will do the March one. I don't know yet. I'll probably start whatever the current month is as the next one once she gets completed. But I feel like I will finish her off in the next few weeks depending on how Bake Off goes. Because since she's my technical stitch, there may be a week or two where she does not get any work done. So we'll have to see how it all goes. But there's 300 stitches. All right, so this is my main piece for, Great British Bake Off. And this is Honeymoon Sunset, charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. It's $8.69 by $6.49. It has 133 colors. I have a goal to get this to 50% by the end of the year. And as long as I can get the whole percentage number up by 1% every month, I will be golden to do that. I have hit my goal to get it to 39%. February's goal will be 40. Yeah, I was sitting there trying to math in my head while I was like, is that right? Yes, because there's 12 months in the year. But this is what the piece is going to look like when it's done. I started up here. I've worked all over. All four corners have been worked too. I've worked my way across the top. I have some stuff going on here in the center, over by the sailboat, up here in the sky, like scattered stitches going down here. But what I'm going to show you is where I've converted to a diagonal. And here we go. And I'll show the whole piece like once my Bake Off, like my face-to-face stuff, I'll show the whole piece. So this is where I'm going to be working today. And my goal for Bake Off this week is to get 2,000 stitches on it. I was debating, like I've said before, I was debating on just kind of spreading it out over a couple weeks here and there when it's a high goal. But I don't want to end up falling behind on it. I'd rather stay ahead. So if I have the opportunity to get the entire goal done, then I'm going to do that. Now, I think like last week I did like 2,300 stitches to get the goal done. I think if it's going to be anything higher than 2,300, it will need to be spread out over 2 weeks. So when it's like this, where it's 2,000, because I'm doing it 2/1 tent stitch, half cross, whatever you want to call it, on a 25 count easy count Lugana, and so if it's anything over 2,300, I'm gonna have to split it up, because that 2,300 took me basically most of the day last weekend, and anything higher than that, I'll have to split up over 2 weeks. So weeks like this, where it's much more manageable, I don't have my kids today, so I don't have to worry about trying to feed them and blah, 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 blah. Where I could just sit here and throw 2,000 stitches in on it. I'd rather do that. That way I can stay on top of it. So I'm working 2 diagonals at a time. I have my diagonals set at 20 stitches wide, and so my diagonals are going 40 stitches across, and I think I'll be able to get this chunk right here done. So I'm going to work on filling in this area right here. I've got parked threads up here too, so I have to make sure that I'm not starting a thread down here and it's parked up here, so I got to look at that as well. But I'm estimating that I'll be able to get maybe like this portion right here completed. So I am starting off at 219,935 stitches completed. Out of 563,981, I am at 39.00%. So we will see where 2,000 stitches gets us. Okay, well, 2,000 stitches got me a lot farther than I was expecting it to. Yeah, check it out. Got part of the lighthouse done. I didn't think it was going to go this far, because like a block is 100, right? And I'm doing a double diagonal, which means that I'm going out, like this is a 20 stitch wide, so I'm going out like this far. So 100, 200, 300, like 400 stitches wide. 400, 800, I don't know. Anyway. But yes, so I did 2,000 stitches on this. Got my goal done for the week. It looks really, really good. I am super happy with how that lighthouse is turning out. And the top of my diagonal is right up here. So I should be able to finish the diagonal next week and start back over at the bottom. I don't know how many stitches I have to do for next week, so I'll probably end up finishing this diagonal and then starting back down at the bottom again. But yeah, 2K. So I now have 221,935 stitches done out of 563,981. I am at 39.35%. So I increased this by 0.35% today. And yeah, really liking how it's turning out so far. Yay!
Okay, so let's update my boards and pull my stuff for next week. So the first one we're going to update is my temperature board. So my temperature pieces all have goals of 2,000 stitches. I have them listed 1 through 10, but I have their temperatures listed in green as 0 through 9. I didn't do any in the highs. All my stitching this week was in the lows. So we are going to update this part down here. Once again, I do this every single week. I did not take the cap off of this marker. Hang on. My goodness, what is wrong with me? Okay, so let's dig this thing into my shoulder again for the week. I'm going to end up with a giant bruise on my shoulder one of these days. Okay, what do I need to update on here? Hiding place, I did 100 stitches, so this is going from 100 to 200. And the goal is dropping from 1900 down to 1800. And then the next one to update is going to be Merry Christmas. It's going from 400 to 500. And the goal is dropping from 1600 down to 1500. I finally got to work on I Love You to Death, so this is getting its first 100, and the goal is dropping from 2000 down to 1900. I still have not gotten to work on gnome yet. Sad. And then the last one is Ocean ABC. This is increasing from 300 to 400. And the goal is dropping from 1700 down to 1600. Like I said, I'm going to slowly pare this back down to 10 whips for temperatures. I don't know once one of these gets dropped off, I don't know if I'm going to track high and low on it, or if I'm just going to do whichever one it's currently assigned to. I have not figured all that out yet. I just know that I do want to pare it down back down to 10 so that I'm not getting annoyed about the fact that I can't get all of those projects worked on in the week. That's really what it is. It's not that I'm like panicking or getting anxiety. It's just aggravating that I have so many blank spaces on my board. That's what it is. Because if I would have actually just had 10 temperatures that I was going off of, looking at my board right now, there was only 2 projects that I didn't get to, and if it was just those 2 left, I would have pushed and stayed up. Because, not gonna lie, like yesterday, I stopped stitching at like 10:45, and I just went to bed early. That was very early for me. I mean, I laid in bed and played on my phone for a bit, but I stopped stitching at 10:45. Now, if I would have just had those 2 projects right there, I would have pushed and done them because they were both easy projects that I could have knocked out before midnight. Did I do it? No, I didn't. Because I figured I still had all those other ones to do, and I was like, why bother? Okay, my focus pieces for the week. I am updating everything on here. I just realized something. Hang on one second. I need the percentage for Honeymoon Sunset. And I just lost my balance and I almost fell over. I need to get myself a life alert. I need the percentage for Honeymoon Sunset because someone said they'd like to see the total percentage on my board here. So we got to update that too. Okay. So first one up is going to be, I still didn't fix the 1 and 2 on here. First one up is going to be my full coverage to get it to 1%. This week I worked on Rainbow Castle and I had done 210 stitches on it. And so this, to get it to 1%, I still needed to do 961 stitches. I did 210, so this is increasing from 200 to 410. And my goal is dropping from 961 down to, you'd think I could math that in my head real quick, 751. And then my non-full coverage to 4K, the one I worked on this week was Year of Gnomes June. My goal to get the 4K was still 3,796 stitches. Obviously I didn't do all that. I did 257 stitches. So this is increasing from 204 to 461. And the goal is dropping from 3796 down to 3539. Is it bothering me that I have such weird numbers on here? Yes, it is. Not gonna lie. I like nice, even, whole hundreds, but it's whatever. Okay, my new starts rotation. The one I pulled was Friends Frame. I estimated that 100, but I did actually count the stitches this time that I worked on it. I did 205 stitches, so this is increasing from 100 to 305. And my goal is dropping from 2,900 down to 2,695. This project will be done before this 3,000 stitches is up. We are just tracking this because we're tracking all the new start stitches. And then my Honeymoon Sunset down here at the bottom. My goal is to get it to 50% by the end of 2025. My starting off the week, I was at 39.00%. I am now at, oh, actually, I'll put that on there in a second. I had previously done 8,074 stitches since my whip parade to get to that goal. I did another 2,000, so this is going from 8,074 to 10,074. So we've hit the 10K mark. And my goal is dropping from 62,056 down to 60,056. And I did write the right number down, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay. And my percentage went from 39.00% to 39.35%. So I've hit my goal, my percentage goal for January already, because I wanted to get it to 39% by the end of January, because if I do it by a percentage every month, I will get the 50% by the end of December. So I've hit my goal for January. So this is all extra, which is great because I know there's going to be probably at least 1 month where I'm like not really getting a lot done on it. So taking advantage of the extra stitching while I can. Okay, now we're going to update my Monopoly board. This one here has all of the properties listed. So I have the whips in black. I probably should have been doing this a little closer. I have the whips in black. They're assigned properties in green, the current stitch counts, and they all have goals of 4,000 stitches. Once they hit the 4,000, they will get replaced with something else since I have so many whips. So the first one we're going to update, we're going to jump down here to Ventnor, which is Halloween calendar. I did 100 stitches on it. So this is going from 100 to 200. And the goal is dropping from 3,900 down to 3,800. And then, let's see, the dog was in jail, so that's on my other board. The duck was Halloween letters, which is on Pacific, right here. So this is going from 100 to 200. And the goal is dropping from 3,900, hi Gracie, down to 3,800. And then we're finishing off the duck who purchased Oriental Avenue. Up here, Christmas reindeer. I did 400 stitches to purchase Christmas reindeer. So this is going from 100, adding the 400 becomes now 500. And the goal is dropping from 3,900 down to 3,500. And the second Monopoly board has all of the special, like the railroads, utilities, and then the corners. So the one I have to update on here is the one for being in jail, which is Rocky Point. The dog did not roll doubles to get out, so it had to do another 200 stitches. So this is going from 600 to 800. And the goal is dropping from 3,400 down to 3,200. And that's all I have to update on that board. And then the final board is my little one, my tiny board, this one here. So this one has the 3 new starts, special new starts I did in January last week. And then it's got my 2 technical stitches on here for Bake Off. So Calendar Girls May, and then my Whip a Shame for the month. So Calendar Girls May, I did another 300 stitches. So this is, these 2 here, I don't know why I have those there because I don't really have stitch counts as like a stitch goal for them, except to finish them off. And I don't know how many stitches it's gonna, well, I kind of know Grinch Gnome, but there's still back stitching to do. So I'm not even, we all saw how it went with Yippee-ki-yay, figuring that out. But we're not doing all that. We're just good. The goal is to finish. So we're just going to count how many stitches I do on these pieces. So Calendar Girls May, I did 300 stitches on it this week. So this is going from 200 to 500. And then Grinch Gnome and Company, I did 150 stitches. So this is going from 400 to 550. And then Whole Lotta Latte, I actually need my notebook for this because I'm not mathing that again. Okay, Whole Lotta Latte. My goal for the Whip of Shame is to do 100 stitches a month. No, 100 stitches a day for the month. Okay, so the goal is to do 100 stitches a day for the month that I'm working on it. So this month I need to do 3,100 stitches on it because there are 31 days in the month of January. So my previous total was $16.95. I'm adding 643 stitches. So this is going from $16.95 to $23.38. And my goal is dropping from $14.05 remaining down to $762. I have not done today's stitches yet. Today is the 23rd. So 8 days, right? Isn't that 8 days? So I'm actually a little bit ahead, which is great. So that goal will get done by the end of the month. And before we do our project polls, we need to briefly go over one more time because you guys do still have a week of voting left. You guys need to vote on the Whip of Shame for the month of February. And I'm going to show you again in case you missed it last week because I think I did show these at the end. The two that you have to pick from, they're both Dimensions Gold Collection kits that are very old. The first one is going to be In Her Garden. And I went over details and everything last week. So if you want to know who the designer is and all that, then watch last week's video. I'm just going to kind of show. And then the other one is Magnificent Wizard. So you have these between these two to pick from. And then real quick, let me show you their starting points. So this is Magnificent Wizard. That is where I'm starting from for that one. And then this one is In Her Garden. No. It's upside down. There we go. This one is my starting point for In Her Garden. So, you guys have 1 week left to vote. I will be announcing the winner in my next Flosstube, which will be January the 31st. Side note, I'm super stoked about the fact that the 31st falls on a Friday that I don't have my kids, because that means that I can do my, oh crap, which one does this go in? Okay. Because that means that I can do my end of the month recap either after I'm done filming my normal update or the next day on February the 1st, which would mean that I could get some extra stitching in on the 31st before I do my end of the month recap. So that's exciting. And I looked ahead at the calendar. Same thing goes for the February update. Like if the end of the month falls on the week I don't have, I feel like I have a hair right here. The end of the month falls on a week I don't have my kids, which means it'll be a lot easier for me to film my end of the month recap. If you're new, I share custody of my 2 sons with my ex-husband. we have 50-50 custody. So when I say I have them next week, like, it's not like I'm like, you know, a shit parent or anything. We literally switch every Friday. So I get my kids back tomorrow for the week, and then that's why I film every other Thursday and every other Friday. So I get them back tomorrow, I have them for the week, and then the following Friday on the 31st, they go back to their dad and they're with him for the week. So 50, like straight 50-50 custody. So, and they're teenage boys. I don't like filming when they're home. They're loud, they're obnoxious. I mean, they're not rude. They're just loud and obnoxious teenage boys. And they would want to be in the video and they would be dumb. Like, oh, hi, sticking their tongue out and stuff like that. Because they're boys. Boys are dumb. Okay, so we're going to pull my weekly projects. So this is my full coverage, non-full coverage, and new start rotation. And if I pull anything that I've worked on in the past week or two and I don't feel like working on it again, I am, what am I calling it? I'm permitting myself to set it aside to pull something else. So, oh, sweet. I have not worked on this at all. This is my full coverage to get it to 1%. This is Creekview Cottage. I was hoping I would pull that soon because I haven't gotten to work on it since starting my new plans. Okay, and then my non-full coverage for the week is going to be, not that one, Year of Gnomes June. I just did that one. I don't want to do it again. Okay. Full cover, non-full coverage for the week is going to be, didn't I just work on the coffee note? I just worked on that too, like the week before. Maybe I should just rotate through these things. Okay. Mermaid Sal. All right, we're good with that one. I'm like, let's randomly draw. Not that one, not that one, not that one. I feel like sometimes some of these projects, I feel like I need like a few weeks break in between them. That is why I have so many freaking projects, because I'm like, I'm done with that one for now. I'm done with this one for now. Okay. So in here, the blue ones are my Whips of Shame. The pink ones are my new starts. This includes the 5 new starts that were listed on that board I updated, plus the 3 special, like kind of start alongs I did. Is this pink? Yes. Okay. So my new start for the rotation for the week is going to be Let It Snowman. Okay, so I'm going to pause here. You are going to see the new round of Monopoly next, and then when I come back from that, you're going to see all my whips, my plans. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, welcome back to round 7 of Monopoly. If you want to play along at home, you can pick one of the tokens and do whatever stitches are assigned to that token for the week. If you want to pick, if you want to assign whips to the board, you can do that as well. I have whips assigned to every piece on the board. And if you want to just assign a whip to a side of the board and just do stitches on that whip if a piece lands on that side of the board, you can do it that way too. Or you can have whips assigned by the project colors, like green, one for green, one for yellow, etc., etc. So you can play along at home. We are going to go ahead and get started. I am starting with the cat, which is up here on Ventnor. This is still the cat's first time around the board, so whatever it lands on until it passes go is 100 stitches. The cat rolled a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. North Carolina. Okay, and then the dog is down here in the corner in jail. This is the dog's third time rolling doubles. So let me just slide this camera down a little bit here. So this is the dog's third time rolling to get out of jail. So I'm going to roll. If I roll doubles, we're just going to go, and whatever it lands on will be 100 stitches. If I roll and it's not doubles, then he has to make bail, which is so the rolls are, landing in jail is 200. Rolls number 1 and 2 are 200 each. Roll number 3, if it's no doubles, he has to pay a penalty and make bail. So it's going to be a total of 400 stitches on the jail piece if he does not roll doubles. So let's see what we do. Okay. So the dog is now going to be out of jail, and I have to do 400 stitches on the jail whip because I have to do 200 for the roll and then 200 for bail. So 400 total. That's fun. Okay. All right, the duck, let me see if I can just slide the board a little bit. The duck is up here in the corner, way up there. So I'm just going to kind of move the camera. We're going to do that right there. There we go. So up at the top up there is where the duck is. First time around the board for the duck as well. So until he passes go, it'll be 100 stitches on whatever we land on. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, or get a chance card. All right, what is it? Oh God, if it goes to jail. Advance to nearest utility, 100 stitches. Okay, so advance to nearest utility, that is actually, we're going to pass go. Where's the utility? Oh, electric company. And we're going to jump over here to electric company. So the duck can now buy properties. I'm going to do 100 stitches for the card, and we are also going to purchase it. So that is going to be a total for electric company of 500 stitches. Because when you, in the game, I didn't write it on the card, but in the game, if you get something like that, where it says advance to nearest railroad, advance to nearest utility, in the game, it says that you can, if it's unowned, then you can go ahead and buy it. I don't know why I put 100 stitches on there, because it was either going to be rent or purchasing, but anyway. So now that the duck has passed go, I'm going to do 200 stitches on my go whip, and we're going to do the 100 stitches because I wrote that on the card. Maybe I need to update these cards. And then I'm going to do 400 stitches to purchase it, because purchase price for across all the whips is 400 stitches. Until half of the, I grouped the railroads and the utilities in one group, and there's 6 of them. And then I have the properties in another group, and there's 22 of them. So once 3 of the railroads or utilities are bought, they are going to increase to 600 to buy. Once 11 of the properties are bought, they're going to increase to 600 to buy as well. And anybody who lands on something that's owned, it's going to be 200 stitches on that piece to rent. Okay, so I'm coming down here because now we're at the penguin. The penguin has passed go, so we are now purchasing properties for the penguin. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the penguin is up here on St. James Place, and it is going to purchase St. James Place for 400 stitches. So I will grab those pieces and I will be back. We're getting now, so now we are, this week and last week is, I had said that these stitches are going to start increasing with their stitch counts. Now we're getting into it. So I'll be back to show the whips, and we'll discuss if we're going to spread this out over 1 week or 2 weeks. So I'll be back. Okay, so let's go over the plants. Now, if my tripod is acting up a little bit. So if my camera is suddenly like whoop like that, it like went off balance, and I'm just going to turn the camera back around. So if I suddenly just like become sideways, it's because my camera, like my phone, like kind of twisted around in the tripod, and I'm not going to fix it. I mean, I'm going to fix it, but I'm not going to edit that out. You're just going to have to deal with it. It did it to me earlier, and then I set my camera up, and then I was like looking at my stuff, and I looked back up and it was kind of tilted. So just a warning that if I suddenly rotate on your screen, it's not you, it's me. Okay, so let's go over Bake Off first. So now I'm going to kind of explain. I finished the most recent Bake Off this past week. So I am going to move on to collection. I'm going to go back in time, and I'm going to go to collection number 5. Great British Bake Off is on Netflix. They have collections 5 through 12 currently available to watch. So I'm going back to collection 5, and I'm doing the same idea that I did for collection 12. I got this idea originally from Jessie Marie over at Jessie Marie Does Stuff. And what I did was I took the two versions that she had, and I kind of spliced them up and combined them together into something that works for my current whips and plans. So I have all 12 bakers listed out for collection 5. I randomly assigned them stitch counts in increments of 100. So the lowest is 100 stitches, the highest is 1200 stitches. And if that person, whoever gets eliminated and whoever gets star baker, those stitches go onto my main piece, which is Honeymoon Sunset. I just realized I didn't show you the full piece of Honeymoon Sunset. I will in a few minutes when I show my plans. And if any of those bakers get a handshake from Paul Hollywood, they call it the Hollywood handshake, then I put in an extra 500 stitches per handshake. And then for the middle part of the episode, the technical bake, oh, dang it, Gracie moved too quick. I was going to try to grab Gracie. Come here, Gracie Lou. Come here. The past few Flosstubes, you guys have seen her. She's been sleeping on the couch. Now she's awake. Say hi, Gracie. Mr. Whiskers is sleeping somewhere. Say hi, Gracie. Hello. Hi, Gracie. It's my girl. She's not my favorite, but she's my girl. Oh. Okay. So in the middle of the episode is the technical bake. So they do they have a bake that is assigned to them by the judges, and it is a blind judging. So they taste all of them, and then they rank them worst to best. So I take the person who lost and the person who won. I look at their assigned stitch counts that I gave them. And if their number starts with an even number, if their stitch count starts with an even number, then I use my formula, which I'll say in a minute, and I put those stitches in on Calendar Girls May. If their assigned stitch count starts with an odd number, then I put those stitches in on Grinch Gnome and Company. And the formula I'm using is N, which is number of bakers, times 25, and N times 50. So since it's the first episode of collection 5, it's going to be 12 times 25 and 12 times 50. Once it hits 5 bakers left, then I'm going to increase it to N times 50 for the last place and N times 100 for first place. So for the first episode of collection 5, 2 people got handshakes. And so that is going to be an extra 1,000 stitches on top of the eliminated and star baker. The eliminated baker had 400 stitches assigned to them. The star baker had 700 stitches assigned to them. So combining the 1,100 stitches for that plus the 1,000 stitches for the handshake, I need to do 2,200 stitches on Honeymoon Sunset. And just a quick reminder of what it's going to look like when it's done. So pretty. And like I said before, my goal is to get this to 50% by the end of the year. So I am starting off the week at 221,935 stitches completed out of 563,981. I'm starting off at 39.35%. And this is where I'm at with it. I'll come in closer, but this is where I'm at with it right now. I wish I was like maybe just an inch taller. I'm standing on my tiptoes so I can see over the fabric. But this is where I'm at with it right now. I'm working on this in the diagonal coming from the upper right hand corner. I ended up converting it to that. As you can see, I've worked all over. So we'll start in the upper left hand corner. This may seem like a repeat for some of you, but some of you, it may be your first time seeing it. And everyone, the few times I haven't shown the whole piece, I get comments, oh, I miss not seeing the whole thing. So I tried my best to show the entire thing every week. I've worked in all four corners. I've worked completely across the top here. I'll show you the corner I'm working on in a minute, but this, man, this is the bottom corner here, the bottom right corner. And then this is the diagonal. Oh, goodness. This is the diagonal I'm currently working on. I'm calling it a double diagonal. So I have my stitches. I have this in Pattern Keeper. And I have it set to 20 stitch wide diagonals. And I decided, because we're getting into the fun stuff now, not just like the background sides. I mean, the entire piece itself is great. But now we're getting into the fun stuff like the house and the lighthouse and everything. So I decided to double the diagonals. So I'm doing 40 stitch wide diagonals. So basically in Pattern Keeper, I'm doing 2 diagonals at a time, and which I'm very pleased with because we got to see a lot of the fun stuff. And look at that lighthouse, huh? Let me get that thread out of the way. So 2,200 stitches, that will finish off this diagonal, and I will be moving into the next one. So yeah, so I'll finish off that bit of the sky, and then let me go ahead and show you this part here. I'm going to come back down here, and let me see. The diagonal currently ends like right there. Let me see. 20. I think my new diagonal is, oh, you know what? I can just look in the frickin' pattern. What am I doing? All the way back down. Is that where I said it was going to be? 1, 2. Yeah, I think it's going to be about here somewhere, maybe. Yeah, I think it's going to be about here. Is going to be the bottom of the next diagonal that I start. So as you can see, that will basically finish off. I'm holding it under my chin. That will finish off once I get up here. That's going to finish the gazebo and then get another huge chunk of the house done. So that'll be exciting, and even more of the lighthouse as we get up that way. But where did I say it was? Like about here, I think it was. And then there's the bottom. Like we're getting closer and closer to that bottom corner. So that's fabulous. Fabulous. So 2,200 stitches for this. And I think that this is still going to be a quote unquote low enough count that I can do the entire thing in 1 week. Because I'm doing it 2/1 half cross. So I was able to do 2,300 in 1 day. I should be able to do 2,200 in 1 day, right? All right. So I want to try to get all of that done. That's probably why I can't get all my temperature stitching done, because I'm trying to get all of my bake-off stitching done in 1 week. And then, so that was for Star, Eliminated, and Handshake. And then for the technical bake this week, both the person who came in last place and the person who came in first place had even stitch counts assigned to them. The one who came in last place in technical had a stitch count assigned to them of 1,000, and the one who came in first place had a stitch count assigned to them of 1200. And so it's, so they were both even stitch counts. So it's 12 times 25 and 12 times 50. Both of those sums are going in on one piece, which is Calendar Girls May. This is from Little House Needleworks. That's what she's going to look like when she's done. And this is my starting point on her. And her assigned stitch count this week is 900 stitches. Pretty sure that's going to finish her off. Pretty sure that's going to finish her off, which means I will have another finish. Fabulous. Yeah. 99.99% sure that 900 stitches is going to finish her. So I think what I will do is whatever stitches get her done will get her done, right? I was debating on moving to another piece to finish that off, but I think I will just, whatever it is that gets her completed, I'm just going to stop there, and then we'll start fresh next week with a replacement. So I'll show you the replacement. Let me see. I guess I could show you the replacement now. So I was discussing what I wanted to do regarding, because the idea behind all of this is to work on the pieces that are close to a finish to get them done. That was the whole idea. But right now I don't really have anything anymore that's close to being done. So I've got my gnomes that for the odd stitch count people, and then I have my Calendar Girls series. I'm now complete. I will now have completed all of the ones that I have started already. So technically these are going to be new starts, but they're small enough that I can finish them in a few good weeks of bake off stitching. So my replacement, technically this will be done in January, so I could start the January one, but I figure let's go ahead and do the February one instead. And then maybe I can actually get her done in February, and we'll just kind of do it like that. And then like if it comes to be like May and I need to start a new one, then I can just do January's instead, because I don't have January's done. But this is going to be the replacement for May once she gets completed. She's so pretty. I love her red. I love her red dress. That one's going to be so cute. I'll be excited to do that one. So that'll be my replacement for May, but I'm not going to start it this week. I'm just going to wait until it gets called again for Bake Off. Okay, let's do Monopoly real quick, because that's what I have right here. So as you saw for round number 7, the cat landed on North Carolina, and it's still the cat's first time around the board. So North Carolina is Mr. Cardinal, and since it's the cat's first time, has not passed go yet. This is only going to get 100 stitches on it. Here it is. It's charted by the Cross Stitch Studio, and artwork is by Dempsey Essick. It's I'll go over details if I work on it this week. I am going to extend Monopoly over 2 weeks, so I may or may not get to this week. But this is going to get 100 stitches. I will tell you my starting stitch count and percentage, because one, some of you guys really like that kind of stuff, and two, it helps me if I forget to write something down that I needed that information for. So this is my starting point with it, and I'm currently sitting at 1,305 stitches done out of 60,230. I am at 2.17%. And like I said, this is due 100 stitches. So that was for the cat. And then, oh, by the way, let's see how full this bag gets this week, right? I mean, I didn't get to everything last week. I should have done that. I should have been like, here's my bag of the stuff I didn't get to. Okay, and then next up was the dog. So the dog rolled double, or was rolling for the final time to get out of jail. It did not. And so what I do for the jail pieces is each roll is 200 stitches if they don't roll doubles. And on the third time, it's an additional 200 stitches to post bail to get out of jail. So, Rocky Point is my jail piece. This is Dimensions Gold Collection. This is one of my whips of shame. So while this is in play, if it comes up as one of my whip of shame contenders, I will set it aside and pick a new one. Because even though I like stitching on this piece, I think I would probably want to shoot myself if I had to do this for jail plus 100 stitches a day for the whip of shame. But this is my starting point for Rocky Point. That's where I'm starting from. So if I end up doing the jail stitches this week, I will continue to stay in this area right here, working in the house and also in the background surrounding the house so that I can backstitch the house as it gets done. Okay, so the duck rolled, landed on go. No, it passed go. What am I talking about? The duck passed go and landed on chance. When you pass go, the whip assigned to go gets 200 stitches. And my go piece is Catching Rays. This is by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. It is 1200 by 900. This is my largest piece. It is 1,080,000 stitches. And I realized that this could potentially, if I made it a kind of like a focus piece like Honeymoon Sunset, I could finish this in 20 years. It's like if I made it a focus piece like Honeymoon Sunset, it is a doable finish in 20 years. I mean, it's over 1 million stitches, y'all. Like, seriously. But I could finish it by the time I'm 60 if I focused on it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So this is going to get to it. So this is what I have so far. It's all folded up. Don't freak out. The fabric is big enough. But this is where I'm going to be working. I'm going to be working in this diagonal up here. And then once this is completed, I'm going to come down here. I'm converting it into a diagonal as well from the upper left-hand corner. So once this part of the diagonal is done, or maybe I'll do I'll keep working in this part here. So once this part's done, I'm going to come down here and do this part of the diagonal. And then once that's done, come back up here and work down again. I'm starting off at 25,674 stitches done out of 1,080,000. I am at 2.38% completed. And this is due to get 200 stitches for the duck pass and go. And so it passed go, landed on chance, and chance said go to, what was it, the nearest utility? I think it was the nearest utility. Honestly, I pre-filmed that Monopoly round. I filmed it 2 weeks ago. I wrote down what it was, but I don't remember if it said go to electric company or go to the nearest utility. Anyway, either way, it landed on electric company, and now the duck can purchase properties. So it purchased electric company, and that is the Norwegian Quaker flag by Visters. Let me find it on here. This, I also have the US flag. I have not started that one though. I did start the Norwegian one. I have the US because I was born in the US, and then I have the Norwegian one because my entire side of my dad's side of the family, all of them are Norwegian, all of them. like my grandparents were like on both sides of their families were like the first generation to marry. No, because both my grandparents are Norwegian. My dad and his siblings in my branch of the family were the first ones to marry outside of the Norwegian bloodline. That's what it was. Okay, so I don't know any Norwegian. I've never been to Norway, but it's okay. All right, so I am doing this on in Pattern Keeper, so I can show you, give you a percentage, but that's my starting point with it. Is that right? Yeah, that way's right. Okay, that's my starting point with it, and I have currently sitting at 500 stitches completed out of 45,561. I am at 1.10%. And to purchase Electric Company, it will be 400 stitches. I don't know if I'm going to continue working in the darker blue or if I'm going to do the, what color's above it? 760. It's only 3 colors. The dark blue is 930, and then it's got a light blue gray of 762, and then a red of 817. So I don't know if I'm going to do the 930 or branch up and do the other 2 colors as well. I don't know yet, but 400 stitches for that. Now, what of those projects are going to get worked on? I have no clue. Oh, I have one more. Penguin. Penguin is now able to purchase properties, and it landed on St. James Place. So it purchased St. James, and my St. James Place is Unicorn. This is my first Teresa Winslow start. I do have another one waiting in the wings to be started, this one here, but the one I started was Unicorn. And then I do also have her carousel horses, and I have her sampler book, but I have not started any of those. But this is my one that I have started, and this one is going to get 400 stitches on it. I don't know if it'll be this week or next week, but it'll get 400 stitches. And that is my... Let's just do this here. This is my starting point. The Unicorn is getting started, like about to get started somewhere in this vicinity. I don't know where though. But yeah, I'll be getting a start on that Unicorn soon. I've been kind of like trying to work on the boring trees, but I might jump down and start on the Unicorn. Maybe I'll do the Unicorn's head at least. I don't know. Anyway, 400 stitches for that. Okay. Let's do the temperatures real quick. So these temperatures, forecasted temps for the upcoming week. A high of, starting with the 24th, a high of 59, a low of 33. These are all in Fahrenheit. The 25th has a high of 66, a low of 43. The 26th is a high of 73, a low of 48. So now we're warming back up again. 27th is a high of 76, a low of 51. The 28th is a high of 74, a low of 51. The 29th is a high of 76, a low of 53. The 30th has a high of 78, a low of 59. And the 31st is a high of 77 and a low of 58. So, warming back up, boo hiss. And so for the highs, the 3 came up once, and that is going to be Cherry Blossom. This is by Blue Fox Stitchery on Etsy. This will, if I get to my, I'm going to pretend like I'm going to get to my tip, to all my temperatures. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. I did an upper right hand corner start, so that's what you're going to see. And this is going to get, show it the right way. This will get 100 stitches on it. I'm starting off at 3,111 stitches completed out of 83,325. I am at 3.73%. So that is that one. And then the 4 came up one time as well. That one is Harry Potter Stitch Your Own Adventure. I do not have a mock-up of the full thing because it is a choose your own adventure. So every one of these is going to be different. So there's no true mock-up of the thing. This one here I am working on for my younger son, who has oh so kindly pointed out the fact that I have done a special request piece for my older one, that Yippee-Ki-Yay pillow. And he says, you did one for Peyton, you should do something for me too. Like, not counting this. I'm like, you right. I should do something for you. So we got to talk about that. Not me and you, like me and him. Got to talk about what he wants me to stitch for him. I have no clue what he wants me to stitch for him. Okay, so this is my starting point. I'm doing it with the called for DMC on a 16 count ivory Aida. And I don't know why I said all that, because I said I was going to say the details when I showed the piece. I do not know if I'm going to work in this part here, or if I'm going to continue working on parchment outlines. I have no clue. So here's the whole thing, and I guess we'll figure it out when I get to it. But this is due to get 100 stitches. Okay. And then the number 6 came up 3 times in the highs, and that is Mother Nature's Spring. So this one is out of the Just Cross Stitch magazine from 2023. I want to say the April edition. That is what she's going to look like when she is done. And this is my starting point with her. So she is due to get 300 stitches. That's exciting. The number 7 came up once. That one is Patchwork Quilt Room. Gotta find it. Hang on. Is this it? Yeah. Okay. Patchwork Quilt Room. This is by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artworks by Ciro Marchetti. Ciro. I don't know. It's regular size, max color. So it's 700 by 490, has 238 colors. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. I did an upper left-hand corner start. So I am currently up here. And that is my starting point. This is due to get 100 stitches. I am sitting at right now at 7,159 stitches completed out of 343,000. I am at 2.09%. So there's that. Okay, and then number 8 was Spa Gnome. This is by cutebroidery.com. I do have this one in Pattern Keeper, so let me find her. Here she is. This is what she's going to look like without the back stitching. And she's due to get 100 stitches on her. This is my starting point. And I am currently sitting at 2,544 stitches done out of 5,479. I am at 46.43%. I may continue, let's focus on the towel head for a minute. I may continue working in that towel because that is like white and light gray and dark gray. And I hate doing those colors. So I may continue working on that to try to get that knocked out and out of the way. So then when I'm done with the towel, I can do the fun stuff at the bottom. Because I know myself, and if I save that towel head for last, I'm going to not want to work on her at all. Okay, and then number 9 came up once, and that is Villa Lorna. This is by Stitching Moon Designs on Etsy. She also has a Flosstube. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. And there is a stitch count for it. Let me do that real quick. Like a size. Hang on, let me tell you what the size is. It is 540 by 376. Okay. So this is where I'm at with it. I'm working in all these park threads from when I tried doing Royal Rose, and I discovered I don't like Royal Rose, so now I'm converting it, trying to get these park thread, because a lot of these threads in these little braided park threads are all repeats of each other, which was really getting on my nerves. So this is going to be my starting point. I'm going to continue working on getting a lot of these park threads worked in. So this is going to be my starting point. I am currently sitting at 10,603 stitches done out of 203,040. I am at 5.22%, and this is due to get 100 stitches on it. And I will continue working these park threads in. Not a fan of Royal Rose, really not. I noticed I was getting lines, even though that's what the thing was that you don't get lines with it, but no. I was getting lines, and I wasn't the only one. Because you're still working in columns. A lot of people get lines when they're working in columns. And I was getting lines working in columns. Okay, so for the low temperatures, there was only 4 low temps this week because we had a lot of repeating numbers. So number 1 for the lows was Hiding Place. This is charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork by Abraham Hunter. It is 869 by 583. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. I have the upper left hand and upper right hand corner started. I am going to be working in the upper right hand corner. So I'm just going to show you that part. This one is due to get 200 stitches on it. So I am starting off at 11,585 stitches done out of 506,627. I am at 2.29%. So that is that one. Then the next one is the one assigned to number 3. That one is Sugar Cookie House by Mill Hill. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And this number came up 3 times. That's my starting point with it. This came up 3 times, so this one is due to get 300 stitches on it. I don't know where I'm going to work on it yet. I'm kind of just working wherever the mood strikes me with this piece. And then the next one is the number 8, which is Cookie Time by Soda Stitch. It's 156 by 198, and this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And this is my starting point with it. I'm currently working in the candy jar over here. I'm looking for it on Pattern Keeper so I can tell you my starting percentage. Here it is. I'm starting off at 1,642 stitches completed out of 15,173. I am at 10.82%, and I will continue. This is due to get 200 stitches, and I will continue working in the candy jar. I might do a little bit of back stitching on it because some of this stuff is like fully stitched, where I could like back stitch maybe like the candies that are right here. And if I throw in like the 3 stitches that are missing right here, I could back stitch this piece of candy too. I might do that. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be a surprise. I think it'll depend on how I feel when I pull it out to work on it. Okay. I don't know. We'll see. And then the final one for the temperatures is the number 9 for the lows. Super exciting. This one is gnome. You guys voted on this one as my new number 9 replacement. Cutebrodery.com. This is what she is going to look like when she is done. And this will be the first time that I get to work on her since this has gotten called. So that's exciting. That is what she's going, or that's what I'm at with her right now. And I'm working off of a paper pattern for this one, so I don't have a percentage. And I don't know if I'm going to work in the hat or if I'm going to work in her, or if I'm going to do some of the back stitching on the hat, because that will really give some definition to it. We'll see. But she just she's just going to get 100 stitches. Okay, so that's all my temperature pieces. And then my whip of shame will get, will continue to get 100 stitches a day. Once the whip of shame is done, I will show the before and after of the month, the beginning of the month and the end of the month. I will show my progress on it, but this is my starting point for the whip of shame. I've been kind of doing like, you know, one day kind of rotating through the cups. So this cup is completely cross stitched. It just needs back stitching. This cup needs the steam, and it needs the steam here. And the coffee drop, that needs to be done, but that's kind of outside the cup, so I'm not really counting that. This one just needs the steam to be completed and the saucer back stitched, like finish back stitching it. This one, of course, needs to be finished, and this one too. This one is completely done. I'm kind of like going all over the place here. Let me back up and like kind of take a breath. Okay, so this cup is completely done 100%. This cup here, I just need to finish this drop of like coffee coming out, which I'm not really counting as part of the cup. It's just really close. Needs the steam and to be backstitched. This cup here is completely done. It just, like cross stitching, it just needs the rest of the steam coming out of it, and I need to finish back stitching the saucer. This cup here, of course, I need to finish stitching, steam, backstitch. This cup here, finish backstitching the handle and the saucer. This stitching is all done and it needs to be backstitched. And then of course I gotta do the border, and there's 2 drops of coffee off to the side here. So this will not be a finish by the end of the month. I know some of you guys were hoping it would be, but it won't be. This just needs, what was it? 760 stitches or something, and I've got 8 days, so this will get done by the end of the month. And so next Flosstube, I will show the 3,100 stitches before and after, and then I will also announce the Whip of Shame winner for February. That one will only get 2,800 stitches because there's only 28 days in February. I do not need that one this week. Okay, I forgot a whip, hang on. Okay, now that I was getting to the bottom of the pile, I realized I was missing a whip. Okay, so my full coverage, focus to get them to 1%. I have 15 total that need to get to 1%, that are, or that I've already started that have not gotten 1%. So I'm rotating through 5 of them until they get to 1%. And then once they get to 1%, they will go into my big bin of whips, and I will replace them with another full coverage piece that needs to get to 1%. So the one I'm going to work on this week is Creekview Cottages, charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. Hang on. I say this every week. My biggest gripe with Pattern Keeper is that you cannot sort the patterns in any sort of order except the order that you upload them. Okay, Creekview Cottages. It's by the Digital Artwork Company. It's 825 by 825. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. I am part of their Insiders Club, and there are some patterns that we get every month for free, and there are some patterns that are only available to insiders on their website, and I do not remember, because when I log into the website, I'm logged in under that login. I don't remember if this is available or not to everybody. So if it's not, if you don't see it on their website, that's why. Because I do remember this one being posted in the Insiders Club. I just don't remember if this was one of the, I don't know if it's available or not. But anyway, all the other ones I did show by them are. But this is my starting point with it. I am currently sitting at 1,000 stitches completed out of 680,625. I am at 0.15%. To get this to 1%, I still need 5,807 stitches. So obviously this one will not be done this week. But that is my starting point with it, is an upper left-hand corner start. So we'll see how much of this I can get done. I am doing it in tent stitch, so that is going to make it go a lot faster, I will say that. Okay, then my non-full coverage to get to 4,000 stitches is the Mermaids of the Season sale from, what was it, last year? From Bella Filipina, and, oh, 2023. I started it last year. Bella Filipina and Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And this is my starting point with it. I think what I had talked about before, because I've only worked on this once and I did 200 stitches on it, and it was all in the summer mermaid. Even though we're like in winter right now, oh my God. I was saying, because it's a full coverage to get 4,000 stitches on it, I think what I might do is my first 1,000 stitches I'll do in her. And then once I hit 1,000, then I will do 1,000 stitches in, maybe I'll jump down here and get started on the winter one, and then I'll do 1,000. So I'll do 1,000 stitches in each one for my 4K goal. So I'll continue working in the summer. Obviously in the end, she's probably going to have the most progress on her once the 4K is done, since she started off with the most progress. But yeah, so I'll just do 1,000 stitches in each mermaid until I hit 4,000 stitches. So I'm only at 200 right now with that. Okay, then my new start rotation is Let It Snowman, and this is by Stony Creek Collection, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. And one second here, let me pull this out so I can show it the right way. Okay. That's my starting point with it. So because there is so much white, what I did was I made a copy of the center of the chart. And this is for anybody who's doing a project that has a shit ton of one color and you don't want to lose your place. what I did was I made a copy, hold it back here. I made a copy of the chart and I found the center and I did a 100 stitch block of the center and I highlighted it right away so I would not forget. And then I moved over here and I'm working in this one, but every time this one here, I'm gonna work block by block. That way I don't lose my place because all of this is all white. Whatever color they have for white, all of that is white. So if I just work here, there, and everywhere, I am going to get lost and it's going to turn out looking like crap. So I'm doing it block by block. Oh, I can do that up close. And that's where I'm starting off with. And this one needs 2,800 stitches before I replace it with a different new start. That's all my whips. Now my bag is full. We'll see how much of this I can get done this week. Like I said, my Monopoly stitching I am going to carry across 2 weeks. Bake Off, I would like to get it completely done. Not really so much because of wanting to move through the season faster, but because I want to stay on top of the stitching for Honeymoon Sunset because of that big goal I have for the end of the year. Weekly, I'll do 100 stitches a day on Whole Lotta Latte, and then my other weekly pulls, full, non, and new start, I want to try to do at least 100 stitches on each of them, and then we will see what I can get done on the temperature pieces. My focus pieces for temperature are going to be the one I mainly want to get done is gnome because that is the only one out of all the temperatures I have not been able to do yet. And I'd like to try to knock out the ones that have the higher stitch counts, like Mother Nature Spring, because I have an idea of where I want to work on her. So the fact that I have 300 stitches to do on her, I probably could get to where I want to, which is the birds holding her hair up. And Cookie Time, I really want to get working on that candy jar and get that knocked out. So those are the 3 big ones that I want to, or the 3 main ones from the temperatures that I want to get worked on. The other ones, if I can get to them, I will get to them. But I think that's about it. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. It may take me a few days to get to you. Oh, and don't forget to vote for the Whip of Shame for the month of February. Either Magnificent Wizard or In Her Garden. You can say wizard, you can say garden, you can say the lady, you can say the dragon. Doesn't matter. I will figure out what you were talking about. But go ahead and vote on which one you want to see me work on in the month of February. Hopefully yours wins. Don't know which one you're voting for, but hopefully it wins. And yeah, that's it. So take care. Happy stitching. Get a lot of stitches in, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.